Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Walmart exclusive, oh boy, Vampire Batman. What is it, Halloween time again? Not really. In fact, it's even worse than that. It's close to Valentine's Day. But jokes aside, with all that being said, before we get into the meat and taters of this review, kindly moving good old Fang Face out of the way here so we can take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging before we throw the box away, because we don't need none of that around here. Bring in Batman back so we can take a look-see at his accessories, starting off with, of course, his collectible trading card, featuring the same image from the back of the packaging. There's a bio that you can pause and read at your own leisure. Long story short, this is not actually the version of Vampire Batman I had in mind when I said, hey, it'd be really cool if McFarlane made a Vampire Batman. I was thinking of another one, and we're going to bring him in just a moment here. But on top of the collectible trading card, this version of Vampire Batman comes with a much better accessory than the one I would have liked. There's this really heavy metal looking axe here. Look at that. That's pretty hardcore, man. That's enough to make even Gene Simmons jealous. That said, he could probably buy 50 million of those and laugh in all our faces. But moving this Vampire Batman over a little bit. That's right, this is some premature size comparison stuff going on here, because I have this old DC Direct Vampire Batman, and this is before they became known as DC Breakables. But that said, this is kind of the one I wanted McFarlane to make. This really gnarly looking one with the wings from, I think it's either Crimson Mist, Crimson Night, Crimson Dawn, Crimson something or other. But really cool looking figure. Let's just take a minute to gawk at this. He's got the wings, he's got the really long, exaggerated ears, the red eyes, the fangs, the open mouth. Really jacked looking, really expressive, and full of life cape there. Love the sculpt of this dude, but the articulation is crap. You can't do much with that thing, but it just looks really cool, and I'm happy to have it. But that's kind of what I wanted this guy to be, and well, it's not. I believe this guy is from, what is it, Justice League versus the Vampires, or Vampire Wars, or something like that. Some newer Vampires versus the DC Universe storyline, which I may have to check out just because I'm curious, but I would much prefer to get the Crimson Mist, Crimson Dawn, Crimson whatever version that DC Direct did, but in an updated McFarlane Toys style, if you know what I mean. That said, though, he of course comes with the hockey puck display stand. We're used to seeing him with all McFarlane Toys releases. And this figure, on top of the fact that it is not the Vampire Batman I necessarily wanted from McFarlane Toys, it's on the frickin' Three Jokers Batman body, which I'm not the biggest fan of. And in this guy's case, it's mostly because of the legs, because his one foot on mine is poop and is very loose. I'm going to need to tighten that up with something, both in the rocker and in the hinge itself. So that sucks. This side, no, it's not that much better. It's just the rocker ain't as loose, and this toe is loose. So I'm not a fan of this body, never have been, probably not gonna be. And I actually think that this guy probably uses more of the Hush Batman parts, because he doesn't have the big armored boots like the Three Jokers Batman did. These are very sleek and streamlined boots, so maybe these are from the Hush Batman. I don't know, don't have that version. That said, mine's torso is also a little bit loose. Not really in the forward and back anymore, but in the swivel side to side, it definitely could be better. And I may fix that at some point. I don't know. I gotta pick up some kikis and tweak a lot of my Toddy Mac figures because lately they've just been a little bit loose for my liking. That said, as far as articulation goes on this figure, you know it. You may or may not love it, but he's got the ball in the head, or the neck, I should say. And I will say, of the figures using this body, mostly all Batman, actually they're all Batman, this one gets the most range out of this joint. So that's fine. That's okay, I guess. I do prefer the kind of cowl that goes underneath the base of the skull, and that's where the double ball peg is located. Gets a lot better range. And might I add that the Speeding Bullets Batman, I think, is the better Batman base body as opposed to this one. I mean, the sculpt is fine. The anatomy's pretty on point, but on top of the fact that this one stands a little bit too tall, that doesn't bug me that much, but I just don't like the way it's cut. I think it could be articulated a little better because this is a Vampire Batman. I want him perched on a gargoyle or something. I can't really do that with this figure. That said, his arms go out to the side, they go back down, they rotate forward and back. He doesn't really get a ton of play out of those ball sockets in the shoulders, but they are there. He's got a bicep swivel, he's got a double elbow that does work. Okay. And is cut kind of especially on the bottom there. Really cool hand sculpt. Kind of looks like he's been wiping his butt with his bare hand, though. But you do get your ball hinge wrists out of that. And what gets me is almost every time, and this is kind of hilarious, the wrist balls are a lot tighter than the ankle balls. Can that be reversed? I don't need the wrist to be that tight unless they're holding an accessory, which this thing, while it may look kind of substantial, it's very light, and it's very thin. So it's not that heavy. He doesn't need the most support to hold that thing. But the feet kind of need to hold up a lot of weight here. So yeah. Torso articulation is, I'm not going to really futz with it too much. I don't want to loosen up any more than it already is. It does have a waist cut though. Well, it's a ball, but it's mostly a cut. It doesn't really get a lot of forward unless you tweak with the diaper here. But it is what it is. Hips can kick out pretty far. Eat your heart out, Spider-Man. They kick back down. They do kick forward. They do kick back. He does have a little thigh cut in there. Not a ton. Double knee is a double knee. It's fine. It's actually not the worst double knee I've seen from this line. I think the top joint's pretty almost seamless, and then the bottom one could be worked on a little bit. But it's fine. Definitely a little better than my Three Jokers Batman was. And then he's got a swivel in the foot with the hinge and the rocker. Really, the rocker's the worst offender on this guy. Then the toe joint, which on this side is pretty loose and kind of blah. So, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. I really wish they would, I don't know, get the perfect Batman body out there. I haven't messed with that, Speeding Bullets Batman, but based off what I've seen, in my opinion, I think that's the best Batman body still. Even though I haven't messed with it personally, I think that's a really solid buck. And I wish they would gravitate more towards that, because I think the sculpt is on point, the posability is pretty good, and for the most part, it doesn't really have as many flaws as this one. That said, I'm kind of biased because I never cared for the Three Jokers Batman body, because I got the Rebirth Batman first, and that one just kind of did it for me, and I didn't really feel like the Three Jokers Batman was all that afterwards. That said, after seeing Speeding Bullets, and Rebirth Batman's looking a little rusty himself, so I think McFarlane Toys still has a little ways to go, but if you're into the cool, even scary looking, I mean, look at that face, ew, Batman variants like I am, this is a definite must-have. Only downside is it is a friggin' Walmart exclusive, so best of luck to anyone trying to track this guy down. I know Walmart exclusives are a pain in the neck and a half to get a hold of. Trust me, I'm still trying to get my hands on Nightfall Batman. Not sure when that's going to happen. Probably just going to wait until he's available elsewhere because my Walmart sucks, doesn't get them, and Walmart.com sucks and never has it. So, but there's plenty on eBay though. So there's the catch there, I guess. But I don't have the budget to be paying someone's mortgage buying a freaking $20 action figure for $50. That BS needs to stop. That is the definition of lame and totally not cool, bro. So, with that being said, before this turns into a rant, we're going to move on and take a look-see at how this guy stacks up against our two regulars. Because, again, trying to keep these reviews short and sweet for you guys. So, without further ado, let us move right along and do just that. And as promised, here is good old Fangface alongside our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, and the Livid Spawn, who's not towering over everyone today, because as you could clearly see, both Al Simmons and Bruce Wayne are about equal as far as height is concerned, which is something I hadn't noticed when I reviewed the Three Jokers Batman, but hey, I guess it's a thing, so long as Batman ain't taller than Spawn, right? Because that just plain ain't right. So, with that being said, time to wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and while this isn't exactly what I had in mind when I said, gee whiz, it'd be really cool if McFarlane made a vampire Batman, it still is technically a vampire Batman made by the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys. So at the end of the day, I did still get what I asked for, but don't get it twisted. The second they announce that they're making the vampire Batman I really want, I'll be first in line to pre-order that sucker, so long as it's not a stupid Wal-Mart exclusive, because while Target gives you a window to pre-order their exclusives, Walmart just puts the Sons of Monkeys on the shelf, and it's a free-for-all, just like Ted Nugent said. So, with that being said, if you are like me and are still kind of holding out for a Crimson Mist, Crimson Dawn, Crimson whatever that thing is called, version of Vampire Batman, then maybe this one is a pass. But if you're also like me and you like really cool, wacky, and kind of scary and evil looking versions of Batman, this is a definite must-have. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you're so inclined, please feel free to do all the YouTube rigmarole, as well as hit me up over on Instagram at Overlord Productions if you ever want to talk toys or anything in particular. That's the #1 best way to get a hold of yours truly. But remember, keep comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when, man, I really wish this was the Crimson Mist Batman. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.